on the premises for their event to be held June 13th and 14th of 2014.
Second. Motion Harrison, second Freeman. I remember which one I read the first time.
Read number 3.
And this was number 2.
Yeah, we need to vote on the waiver of
Right.
So,
So, yeah. Motion Freeman, second Harrison, that we approve a request for a waiver of distance limitation to allow for the sale of retail cereal malt beverages within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Festival on the Trails event to be held June 13th and 14th, 2014. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
Motion carries. New business item number 4. Consider establishing the city's contribution to health and vision insurance premiums for the 2014-2015 plan year. Laura, good evening. I thought this was going to be the Mary Bush show this evening.
I wanted to steal a little bit of her thunder.
Okay, very good.
I have a new audience tonight, so maybe this whole thing about best practice of priority-based budgeting might be a little bit new to someone. So, one of the most important components of the best practice of priority-based budgeting is to evaluate previous budget decisions. So, in keeping with this best practice, I think that now's a good time to review the city's contribution to employee health and vision insurance premium. So, the city continues to experience great success in incenting employees to migrate to the least expensive, high-deductible health plan. As 15 more employees chose to move to it from last year to this year, that's an increase of 23%. Currently, a total of 80 out of 102 covered employees, or 78%, participate in the high-deductible plan, which benefits the city because that mitigates the impact of rising health care costs. Evidenced by the premium increase for the high-deductible plan is 3% this year, while the HMM plans were 5.3% and the preferred provider plan was 6.9%. So the successful incentive strategy you approved last year was to pay 100% of the high-deductible premium for employee only and 80% of the high-deductible premium for family and Tier 2 employees. And you funded employees' health savings account, $500 for employees only, $1,000 for family and Tier 2. Beginning July 1st of 2014, remember their plan year and our budget year do not go together, they're off. July 1st, NPR will implement the 3% premium increase because you base your contribution on that. We recommend that the council continues the successful strategy of 100% for employee only, based on the high deductible, 80% for the other two plans, family and Tier 2. There was no change to vision premiums. And we also recommend that you continue to incent your employees to stay with or move to the high deductible plan by offering that upfront funding of $500 for employees and $1,000 for family and Tier 2. The combined impact on the 2014 budget, remember, this was just their years off with yours, so 2014 impact, you can absorb the increase and fund that for $31,300 estimated. And so that is staff's recommendation.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to don't scurry away from the podium.
Stand aside.
Stand aside.
Stand aside.
At this point, we would open the floor to public comments regarding new business item number 4. If there's anybody that's interested in making comments on this item, please step forward and state your name and address for the record and be heard.
Dave Despard again at 628 East Hawthorne. And my opinion on it, which I know what opinions are, but I think we need to fund health care. That's more important than most things, including simple little raises. Too many companies have done away with it, and because of that, they can't keep good employees. They go to where they get the benefits. And that's my comment on it.
Thank you, David. No one else coming forward, Laura? Questions for Laura about new business item number 4?
Laura, I've been very, very much in favor of this approach, so I like what we've done. I got a question for you concerning employee feedback, and maybe Mary could speak on this as well. How do the employees taken to the HDHP? Have they had concerns or issues, lack of responsiveness, or anything like that from the standpoint of claims or anything like that? What's been the general feedback from the employees? Because ultimately, this needs to be able to to fill their needs. So.
Great question. Actually, we've heard very little after we went through the initial open enrollment with healthcare spending and learning all about that. And once our employees became educated on how this all worked, really we've heard very little. So what that tells us is things are working well. We've heard no issues. We've had no problems. There isn't a lot that's come to us. It was more the process operational, how do I get my prescriptions, how do I pay, that type of thing. And once we got used to that, we just don't hear a lot about it. So I will also share that the vendor that we're working with has been responsive when we have had, usually if we have an issue, it's when we're enrolling someone new and waiting for that money to drop into their savings account. But they've been very responsive. They've been very good to work with us. And so, it's kind of one of those no news is good news. So really, it's pretty quiet. So
typically in the world of HR, that is absolutely the case.
That's very good news.
Absolutely.
That's very good news. So.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? Christie? Larry?
Has anyone dropped or gone back to their old plan? Do you know?
No, Mary says no.
And is there any hope that we can sync up through your actions on the board, syncing up the contract period with the actual
Fiscal year?
calendar year? Well, I guess fiscal year.
It's fiscal year.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Why not? I mean,
Well, I think it's a pool, it's a large number, they represent some 10,000 lives almost, as well as when the insurance industry, is contracted to kind of write this. So I think it's going to be very difficult, and we've had this discussion at board meetings, but it's going to be very difficult to sync it up. We're going to do some things, and when we present to you the 15 budget, to kind of help not have to come back in the middle of the year. But I think syncing it up with NPR is going to be challenging.
Is one of the things that we can do maybe
Factor it in.
that 3% increase? Or
Absolutely. We factor it in.
Part of that discussion?
Yes, as well as funding the HSA. If we factor that in, then we really, when you approve the budget, we'll be talking with you about, okay, we'll have this in there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy, of course, that 80% of the people have seen the light, and that's a real credit to the organization. But of course, I still think that there's a lot of unfinished business with the Affordable Care Act and how, we could either leverage that or have to change because of it. So we can still continue to make progress on seeing certainly if the current vendor still meets our needs and check out other advice, that would be nice.
Okay.
But at least, the goal, we're moving towards a pretty good goal of 100%.
And we're doing evaluation and monitoring now.
That's
We actually bring it
I
back
like
to you
that.
and talk about it again.
And
I
it-
like feedback.
And only, in 2011, we didn't have any options there. 2012, I think, was the first year we had, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember which year, around there, 11 or 12.
Keith, you have any questions? Tori? Unless anybody else has questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I move that we continue the city's share of health insurance premiums at 100%, 80% as aforementioned, which equates to $403.76 for employee-only coverage, $749.38 for Tier 2, and $887.81 for family coverage. Fund employees' HSAs upfront of $500 for employee-only and $1,000 for Tier 2 and family. And that we continue the city's share of the vision insurance premiums at 100%, 80% as aforementioned, which equates to $7.54 for employee-only coverage, $12.06 for Tier 2, and $17.23 family coverage.
Second. Motion, second, Freeman, that we continue the city's share of health insurance premiums. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Council updates.